at it again, and we've got to talk about this clip here. And I briefly touched on a piece of this before, but I love the way it's presented here, and I think it's important that we dive back into it because it's a really, really important topic of discussion that I don't think should just be brushed over because it's absolutely ridiculous and it should be called out. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new, and let's dive in.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Cleaning up for the boss. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, for years, elected Democrats in San Francisco and Democrat governors have said that fixing the homelessness and crime problem was complex and it would take more money and a lot of patience. Police officials told The Angle they felt helpless.
You get to stay out here and do as much drugs.
You can just live out here, do as much drugs as you want.
Yeah, because the injunction about clearing tents and homeless encampments.
So you can't clear it out?
Can't do that, no, right?
Is that a
but
federal?
They want us to, but we can't do it by law, right? A judge says no, unless you can provide a bed for every person you see out.
Residents' complaints about the crime, public fentanyl use, and general filth fell on deaf ears. But it turns out a court order wasn't the problem at all. All they needed was a visit by the guy who really has influence, Chinese President Xi Jinping.
While San Francisco is in the spotlight for the Asia-Pacific Economic Conference, city leaders are making sure the city shines. Caltrans repaving major roadways like the Harrison Street off-ramp from the I-80. BART doubling down by deep cleaning their stations overnight more often. Scrubbing and power washing is happening all over the city.
Yeah, the bottom of my shoes look clean.
It's noticeable how clear the streets look and how few homeless encampments there are on major thoroughfares.
Now, this shows us what total frauds these political leaders are, because they always had the ability to clean up the cities and clean out the drug dens, to send a strong message to criminals, but they chose not to.
Some people say this should be how it's always done.
What about the people who are here year-round, and local, hardworking, working-class Bay Area folks?
The answer?
Exactly, my brother, and that's what us Republicans are trying to get you to see. These Democrats do not care about you. And here is another example of it. They could give two craps about you. As long as you vote for them when it comes time to show up, that's all they care about. They'll fearmonger you like crazy when it comes to voting time, just so you show up. Show up and vote for us, or else. It's going to be a threat to democracy. And then as soon as they get your vote, then it's back to the same old programming, right? Same old, same old, same old. They had many, many opportunities to clean these streets up. Many, many opportunities to get these homeless people off the streets. Many, many opportunities to make a great American city look amazing. And they didn't do it. But you know when they did? When another foreign leader came over here. Oh, so a foreign leader matters, but the people that voted for you don't. I hope this doesn't fall on deaf ears with the Democrats of this country. But here's just another example right in your face. Democrat politicians do not care about you. You shouldn't be supporting them, in my humble opinion. But that's just me.
The left cares about power, not about your quality of life. They let the city sink into depravity because changing policies would mean they'd be admitting that their high-tax, anti-police, pro-criminal, pro-drugs policies.
That's another thing, too. Yeah, he's taxing the crap out of people, and so he's taking money and not even really providing any good services to people. People ain't even got clean streets to walk on. I mean, now they do because somebody from another country is coming over here. But where's all this money going? Man, you just can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
We're wrong. But now, they're kind of like teenage girls primping before a date. Newsom's prettying up things for someone he needs to impress.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true. But it's also true for months and months and months prior to APEC, we've been having different conversations. And we've raised the bar of expectation between the city, the county, and the state.
Oh, we couldn't do that before, but we're so happy to do it now. This is more meaningless blather from him. The truth is, Newsom actually cares about what Xi thinks. Because, remember, he's going to need TikTok influencers to boost his future political ambitions, and he's going to need the pro-China donors from hedge funds and Silicon Valley on his side as well. This requires making Xi's date feel very special. And ditto for the Biden campaign, which is hoping to win over China to reassure Wall Street and to get their concrete pledges on climate change. Now, the entire purpose of this meeting with China is to get a smiling photo op and to signal to the money class here that we want a new era of collaboration with China. Now, how do you think Taiwan is feeling these days? And just as San Francisco Democrats have tried to paper over the suffering and the blight that they incentivized, so too have the liberals in D.C. If you've been here lately, tent cities are growing, and so is open-air drug use. The place has spiraled into a sea of violence and criminality, especially carjackings and car.
I mean, you look at some of these Democrat-run cities, and they're absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, you literally had a president of I can't crap. Now I'm forgetting where he's from. Argentina. No. Crap. I can't think of it. But someone who is a leader of a second world country, right, said that he'd prefer not to live in one of these Democrat-run cities and would prefer to live back home where he's from. And he's from like a second world country, which is just crazy to even think about. This is America we're talking about. But then when you look at, some of these big Democrat-run cities, they're absolutely garbage. Garbage. You got high crime, right? Streets are just absolutely filthy. It's ridiculous. I mean, the crime alone is enough to stay away from these places. I mean, you look at some of these places in California, you literally can't leave your stuff in your car. People have literally just left their windows down and open. So when the criminals drive by, they can just look in and say, oh, yeah, they ain't got nothing. We can just keep driving. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And the fact that people have just grown accustomed to that in some places, it's just wild to me. No, this is my stuff. You don't touch it. I don't need to show you anything. This is mine. But people will call folks like me extremists, right?
Break-ins.
15 and 16-year-olds are facing a number of charges connected to a string of armed carjackings.
When it comes to carjacking and stuff like that, it happens so much. It's sad.
D.C. is under siege, and we need help.
Stop voting Democrat.
So,
Simple.
Hearing all this, why was anyone surprised by this story?
Secret Service is saying that just before midnight last night in the Georgetown neighborhood of Washington, D.C., right outside Naomi Biden's apartment building, that's one of the granddaughters of President Biden, that Secret Service encountered what they believe were 3 people breaking a window of a parked, unmarked, and unoccupied government vehicle. They say an agent discharged their service weapon. Secret Service says that the offenders immediately fled the scene in a red vehicle.
Now, the first thing that crossed my mind was, what would have happened had a regular citizen shot at those criminals? Well, we know what would happen. He'd be in jail right now. Was the Biden granddaughter's life actually in danger? Well, that is what the Secret Service is saying. Glad everyone is okay. The sad reality is this. Just as we saw with the migrants shipped to Martha's Vineyard and, of course, to Manhattan, the elites are often able to ignore the problems that the rest of the America deals with. But when they arrive on their doorstep, they're suddenly forced to answer questions or deal with the consequences. And even if the answers they give are pathetic.
The president has taken action to make sure our communities are safer. Are we concerned? Obviously. Obviously, we want to make sure Americans and their families feel safe, not just here in D.C., but across communities. But we can't do this alone. We need Congress to act.
Okay, if the voters are okay with those types of foolish answers, then they're going to continue to get bad results. So let's hope from coast to coast, the awakening has begun.
I think it has. I really do. I really do think it has begun, and it will really take shape in 2024 when Trump is reelected as president of the United States of America. And then from there, it's only, is it uphill? No, that's downhill. That doesn't sound right. It's only smooth sailing from there. I was gonna say downhill, but I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. Uphill doesn't sound right either, because like you're pushing, it's smooth sailing from there. And what I mean by that is this: Trump, in my humble opinion, will be reelected as president. It's just a matter of time at this point, right? Now, show up and do your part, because that at this point in time, that's the only way I see Trump losing, is if we just get relaxed and too comfortable and we don't show up and do our part on election day or even before election day. Honestly, I think some people should do it before election day. I don't think everybody should show up on election day. I feel like that's a bad idea. It's a lot easier to, you catch my drift, right? So the only way that Trump loses is if we don't show up, because, oh yeah, we got it in the bag, Trump's going to win. That's when he'll lose. So don't get comfortable. Still do your part. Take a friend. You guys know the whole nine. I don't need to go over it. Take a friend. Seriously, take a friend. Our country depends upon it. This is not just a saying. Take a friend with you. Okay? But like I said, it's just a formality. So on top of that, once he's in office, then it becomes, okay, now it's time to reform the Congress and Senate with individuals like the Matt Gaetz of the world, right? Like the Byron Donalds of the world, the Jim Jordans, okay? And I believe that process will be amplified while he's in office, because he'll understand who's actually for him, who's against him. He's already been through it. He can see the snakes in the grass. He's going to keep it cut low. People like Matt Gaetz are going to be probably in his ear, letting him know, like, this guy, hey, he's the right guy. This isn't the right guy. Byron Donalds as well, as we saw all the images not very long ago of Byron Donalds, literally wherever Trump was, Byron was. That went on for like 2 months. It was crazy. It was crazy. Wherever Trump was, Byron was pretty close behind, like, it was wild to see, cool to see as well. But you'll have all of these individuals in his ear, letting him know, hey, this guy over here, yeah, that's the guy you want. This is the guy you need in that position. And I think the Kevin McCarthy's of the world, the Mitch McConnells, the Lindsey Grahams, the Dan Crenshaws of the world will be voted out. And Trump will help ensure that by putting all of these people on blast, on Front Street, right? Letting the voters know, no more guys like this, no more guys like that. And that's the way that I see it's going to play out. Y'all let me know in the comment section below if you agree. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic. I don't think so. I believe this is 100% possible, right? Especially Trump getting elected. 100%. And we've already saw people like Matt Gaetz and, the Freedom Caucus do their job. So I think it's more than possible. The Josh Hawleys of the world, standing up for, true conservative Republicans. So that's the way I see it all playing out. And now that you have stuff like, these Democrats only doing something when foreign leaders come around, or only doing something when it's at their doorstep and it's on their street where their family has to be confronted with it, doing something, right? I think people see that. People aren't blind to it, right? You guys share the videos, and thank you. Continue to share these videos, because people need to see this stuff. In mainstream media, especially leftist mainstream media, isn't going to talk about this kind of stuff like this. So a lot of the Democrats that vote for this crap won't see this. Okay, so it's up to us to get the message out and to let them know these folks don't care about you. But you know who does? Uncle Trump. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.